Thanks, Andrew. In 7 Local News tonight, a Bakers Creek man sentenced for killing 2 people in a fiery crash. Plans for a major expansion of Mount Pleasant Shopping Centre, a Mackay ambulance officer honoured, and Abbott Point Coal Terminal sets an export record. Details shortly.
Serving Mackay at the Whitsundays, this is 7 Local News.
Tonight, a Bakers Creek man jailed over a fatal accident. Expansion plans for Mount Pleasant Shopping Centre. A Mackay paramedic named the Central Region's top AMBO. And a new kindergarten opens in Beaconsfield. Good evening, thanks for joining us. The families of 2 people killed in a fiery crash south of Mackay have warned motorists about the dangers of drink driving. Nathan Earlull was jailed today for 8 years for causing the deaths of Robert Maguire and Susan Andrew 2 years ago. A trial will continue tomorrow for 3 men accused of a violent home invasion in Mackay. 22-year-old Clinton Kissier, Laurie Hodgetts, aged 25, and Luke McLean, 22, have pleaded not guilty to burglary with violence and armed assault. It's alleged the men entered a Mackay home and assaulted a person with an axe handle and a pick handle, and also made threats to others in the house. Mackay Regional Council has welcomed the expansion of the Mount Pleasant Greenfield Shopping Centre. The 2-stage redevelopment will see the centre grow by more than 15,000 square metres.
Mount Pleasant Shopping Centre has big changes ahead. They include a second discount department store, which will be constructed by extending the centre towards Mackay-Bikasia Road near KFC.
There will be more car parks, of course, that will have to be provided, and as the staging process, they will be added to, and there will be more floor area for retail commercial as well.
Do we know? A service station will be located on the Malcolmson Street side of the centre. A spokesperson for Mount Pleasant Greenfield says the demand for redevelopment came from years of solid trading at the centre. Mackay's northern suburbs are growing at a rate of around 3% each year. Council sees retail developments like the Mount Pleasant project are vital for the growing population.
Clearly Caneland is one that everyone's very aware of at the moment. We have approvals for 2 Bunnings developments, one mostly in Paget, I think 2 at the moment, and there's another application that's before us for the Mackay-Bikasia Road site.
We've grown quite dramatically over the last 5 or 6 years, but if you go back and have a look at what the shopping centres have done, it's been very little. So it's been that lag of development for them to come forward, and obviously that's why it's all on the table now, because we were such a big growth centre.
No date's been set for the start of the expansion work. Nicola Stroll, 7 News.
A Mackay ambulance officer has been named the Central Region's top paramedic. Dan Basham was recognised for his work on the Mackay-based rescue helicopter and assisting on-road ambulance crews. Police are investigating the desecration of a number of graves at the Mackay Cemetery. Around 15 tombstones were damaged in the attack, which is believed to have happened a week ago. Education Minister has opened a new kindergarten in Beaconsfield just 12 months after initial discussions about the facility. The $1 million project was one of the Blind government's election promises last year. Abbott Point Coal Terminal has set a new export record. It cements the facility's commitment to delivering 50 million tonnes a year. Hundreds of Storm financial victims are finally moving on with their lives after lawyers Slater and Gordon revealed more than 900 claims have now been settled. North Queensland graziers and cane growers are revolting against the state government's reef management plan. New scientific evidence will be revealed at a meeting in Charters Towers tonight, which the primary producers say clears them of blame for the reef's pollution problems. Just ahead tonight in 7 Local News, a wet end for 2 fishermen as their trawler sinks in the Pioneer River. And patients thank physiotherapists for their dedication. You're watching 7 Local News. One of Australia's most popular children's authors is visiting Mackay and brought along an interesting friend for the journey. Hundreds of local kids will get the opportunity to meet and greet Andy Griffiths at St Patrick's College this evening. 2 fishermen were forced to jump into the Pioneer River when their trawler flipped and started taking on water. A buoy marks the spot where the 15-metre vessel went down yesterday as it made way for another boat to pass near Mackay's fish market. The skipper and his deckhand jumped overboard but made it safely to land. Insurers will assess the boat before attempts are made to refloat it. A Queensland man who spent 16 days in an induced coma has thanked the physiotherapist who taught him to walk again. The recognition came as hundreds celebrated World Physiotherapy Day. With Julia Gillard now confirmed as Prime Minister, questions have already been raised about the role the mining tax will play in funding $10 billion worth of sweeteners for rural Australia. Scott Linden took to the streets today to find out what you think about the new minority government.
Thanks, Joanne. Well, finally yesterday we had the announcement with the federal election. 2.5 weeks it's taken us. Finally we got the result, a big Hollywood-style announcement, plenty of tension build up. Today for Street Talk, what do you think about the result? Are you happy with it? And do you think it took too long? Certainly one for the history books. I'll catch you next Wednesday for Street Talk on 7 Local News.
Great, thanks for that, Scott. Well, sports up next with Nathan and how the Cowboys go at last night's Dally M Awards.
Yeah, Joe, no success, unfortunately, but the big winner thanked North Queensland. We'll have more next, plus the latest on the Fury. And first, it was the Q Cup defending premiers. This week, Mackay looked to take out Norths on their road to the grand final.
Coming up after the local news, a 94-year-old war veteran badly injured after being bashed in his Bayside home. Our national servicemen recognised with a memorial in Canberra. The study showing how Facebook is affecting students' grades. And Sam Stosur bows out of the US Open. 7 News soon.
Yeah, with 7 Local News, the Mackay Cutters will be aiming for another boil-over when they take on Norths in Saturday's preliminary final at Bishop Park. After surprising the defending premiers, the Sunshine Coast, the Cutters will use a similar game plan against the Devils. A win moves them into the grand final. It was a dramatic end to the Dally M Medal Awards last night. Now, while no Cowboys featured, Sydney Rooster Todd Carney completed a fairy tale return to the NRL, and North Queensland can claim a hand in Carney's reincarnation, with the 5'8" crediting his time in Atherton with saving his career. The North Queensland Fury are keeping busy in their week off. Coach Fran Straka has the boys running double sessions in the search for points, but the bye is also a blessing in disguise, giving the Fury's injured players time to recover. There you go, Joe. I must say, a very big week ahead for all the Mackay Cutters boys.
All right, one win till the grand final.
Let's hope so, yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Nate. Stay with us after the break. Livio joins us with all the latest on the weather.